Well, hello, my paranormal peeps. This is try number 2 of recording this paranormal podcast. This is the Anything Goes Paranormal Podcast. On this podcast, we talk about anything paranormal, be it ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, Dogman, cryptids, river monsters, you name it, we talk about it. Speaking of talking about it, if you guys want us to talk about a certain subject, or you have a creature that you want us to look into, or you have an idea or whatever, please feel free to comment down below, and we'll take a look at that and try and do that for you. So, if you have a story you want to share, if you'd like to come on to the podcast, we're always looking for people to come talk about their stories. There is no judgments on this channel. You have to remember, you have to take everything you hear with a grain of salt. As I always tell people, you have to have an encounter where you can say that couldn't be anything else but. And you have to have your own encounter. I don't expect anyone to believe in anything paranormal until they've had their own encounter. Now, you can be a believer, but you should also kind of keep a skeptical mind. I know ghosts are real. I know Bigfoot are real. Now, Dogman, I'm still on the fence about, and stuff like that. And there's a lot of crypto creatures that I'm on the fence about. I know demons are real. I know angels are real, just because I've seen all that stuff. But I don't expect anybody to believe that until they've had an encounter where they could say that couldn't be anything else but. So, a little bit more about Amanda and I. We've been researching the paranormal for close to 30 years. It started with ghosts. Then I had a Bigfoot encounter about 15 years ago, and I was just hooked. And now I research Bigfoot. I'm also into all kinds of cryptids. I really love the Loch Ness Monster, and I'll talk about that in just a second. Well, no, I should just talk about it now, since I brought it up. So supposedly, and again, take all this with a huge grain of salt, there was a body that washed up on the shore, on the beach where the ocean is, and they believe it was some kind of dinosaur. It looked a lot like the Loch Ness Monster. So what a lot of people don't know about Loch Ness is it actually connects to the ocean. There's a series of canals, almost like the Panama Canal, where the boats go through and they have to wait. They go into one section, and then basically the water has to raise, and then they go into the next section, and they have to wait for the water to raise. Same thing with Loch Ness. It essentially connects to the ocean. There have been whales spotted in the Loch Ness. There's been seals, dolphins, and other kinds of creatures seen in there. So, and then also, of course, it's so deep that basically radar can't penetrate to the bottom. They can get close, but they can't get all the way to the bottom. And there's also a series of caves in the loch itself and under the water. So it's just a mysterious place. Okay, so let's get back to what we're going to talk about. Let me share my screen with you guys. We'll go here first. All right. So you can now buy us a coffee. Essentially, it's a way to donate to our channel, so you guys don't have to watch ads or anything like that. If this is successful, we'll use this instead of having ads on any of our channels. And unfortunately, if you're listening to the podcast, that'll always have ads. Unfortunately, that's just what happens when you get popular, and people want to sponsor you. So we make like nothing off of the podcast, but what little we do get, it actually helps pay for our monthly subscription and all that other stuff to be able to produce the podcast. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this Buy Us a Coffee. If you're watching this, it's buymeacoffee.com/deepwoodspr. Basically, this is our channel. You can come on here, you can buy us one coffee, you can buy us 3 coffees, or you can put your own amount in. Any donation we get, it always is helpful, and we are very thankful for that. Once this gets going, with this only been up for about a week or so. Once this gets going, we will put a thank you page on our our YouTube channel, our Rumble channel, our TikTok channel, and other places to thank people who help us. And then on our podcast, we might just call those people out. All right, so let's get on to something more important. Okay. All right, so upcoming events. Amanda and I are a production company. We don't only produce paranormal stuff. We do survival stuff. We do lifestyle stuff. We do all kinds of stuff. We go explore places a lot. We've been traveling around the world since we met and stuff like that. Partially thanks to my parents who have been able to help us with that. So thank you to my dad. Also, we will be doing the ghost hunt of the San Jacinto jail. This place is pretty cool. It's an old jail. There's been over 400 hangings in the jail itself and then on the property. They brought in some old buildings. Unfortunately, the old town of Cold Springs, a lot of it got washed away. And so it's basically a little ghost town. Now they have a old post office, an old schoolhouse, an old train depot. There's a couple other buildings, but they use it for storage. There's not much to see in there. But if you're interested in coming out with us, it's going to be on January 21st at 2023 at 8 p.m. We're going to be kind of going through the place for a couple hours. It'll only be $20 per person. And we'll let you guys basically use our gear and spirit box, K2s, whatever. We'll be basically going through that. This is down in Cold Springs, Texas. So if you're in the area and you want to come do an investigation and become a ghost hunter, we'd love to have you. A lot of the times what happens when people come out and do these events with us, they join our team. We do have, I think, about 10 or 12 people that investigate, that help us with investigations. They're just kind of in the background right now. They either recommend locations or they're contacting places for us, or they're our clients and they live in the location with the paranormal activity. I talk about Joe all the time. He's got Bigfoots that come through his property. He sees them day and night, and he basically tells us when the best times to come out to that area are. He also is doing active Bigfoot research throughout his area as well to help us find new locations to investigate. So that's cool. And then we have people that comment and tell us, hey, go check this place out. Hey, go check that place out. And we're so appreciative of that. Thank you guys for doing that. Thank you guys for all the very nice comments you make. We're very thankful for you guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. We would just basically continue to investigate places here and there, but wouldn't be as serious about it as we are now. Our ultimate goal is to try and put together a show, a weekly show on our YouTube channel for you guys to watch. And we just have to get to the point where we're making enough money to do that. So anyways, we're going to be doing a series of different places like this, the San Jacinto jail. Somewhere in February or March, we're working with Aaron to set up the Normandy Inn. We're not exactly sure what the details of this are going to be. We're still working with the owner, and we don't know if it's going to be an overnight event where you can come stay the night in the Normandy Inn with us. You have to bring basically everything you're going to need for the overnight event. But that place is cool. I mean, I was going to stay the night there by myself the last time before we investigated, and then I ended up not being able to do it because due to other issues. But that'll be coming up. If you're interested in coming out to the Normandy Inn with us, I'll have that here on our website. This is deepwoodsparanormal.com. This is our main website. If you go under public ghost hunts, I'll be adding the Normandy Inn once I confirm that we're able to do it. I'm not sure what the cost is going to be. I have to ask the owner what he wants for us to be able to come in there and investigate how much money. And then we'll have to base it off that. And then we just have to get enough people to actually be able to do it. But if you're interested in that, that's out in Galveston, Texas. It's said to be one of the most haunted places in Texas. So we'd love to have you out there with us and stuff like that. All right, let's continue on. So we're going to talk about different crypto creatures that live supposedly in Texas. Now, again, take all this with a grain of salt. Like I always say, I don't expect anybody to believe in anything paranormal until you've had an encounter where you can say it couldn't be anything else but. If we're talking about Bigfoot, I'm not, I think I heard a howl, or I think I heard some tree branches snap, or I think I saw something. No. You have to have an encounter where the Bigfoot's in the clearing, or you saw the Bigfoot do the howl, or something like that. You have to have, you don't have to prove it to anybody else, but you have to prove it to yourself. And I was a skeptic of Bigfoots for a long period of time until I had my own encounter. And that encounter, it just changed my life. Now I'm hooked. That was about 15 years ago. So do I believe Bigfoots are real? Yes. Do I expect you to believe it? No, I don't. We take people out with us all the time to different places, and they have experiences, and all of a sudden they become believers. So that's cool. That's what we're looking to do. We just document anything paranormal, be it ghosts, UFOs, Bigfoot, demons, river monsters, lake monsters. We research all of that. And basically in these podcasts, this is what we do. We come on and talk about these things because people like to hear the stories. So that being said, if you'd like to share your story with us and it's paranormal in nature, we'd love to have you come on and tell your story. There are no judgments on this channel. I keep saying that. I just want to make sure people understand that. Just take this with basically, if you don't believe somebody's story, fine, don't believe them. But, there's strange things that happen to people all the time. And it's very hard for people to come out and talk about, oh, I think I saw a Bigfoot, or I saw, ghosts aren't so bad anymore. But they used to be. When I was growing up, if you said the word ghost, they would lock you up in a penitentiary. They put you in a hospital because they think you were crazy. Or if you even said the word psychic, they would scoff at you. And that just wasn't talked about back then, at least in my universe. Maybe in your universe it was normal. Maybe your family grew up with ghosts and stuff like that. I grew up with ghosts. I was haunted. I've been haunted my whole life, pretty much. Anyways, I am rambling on. So let's talk about what we came here to talk about. We're going to talk about several different creatures that supposedly live in Texas and other places. And we'll just kind of start here with the prairie devils. So I'll read this to you. If you're watching this, you can also read it. But the prairie devils, also called the river dinos, mini rexes, and water lizards, are a form of reptilian cryptid sighted all through Texas, Georgia, and Kentucky. All sightings of these graceful lizards have been reported near water, hence the name. Like most of the other Texas cryptids, prairie devils are considered a hoax by most people. But the people that have seen them say they're about 3 feet long and resemble a miniature bipedal brown dinosaur. Local experts doubt that any known species of lizard would be capable of surviving in harsh winters, adding to the mystery. Now, this being Texas and Georgia, these are all on the Gulf Coast. They do get cold. Kentucky, especially. Kentucky's not on the coast, but let me start with this. Here's my thinking on this. Okay, alligators, crocodiles, they can survive freezing temperatures. They can survive a lake or river freezing around them as long as their nostrils are above the water. They basically just go to sleep. who's to say, I know, I don't know about Georgia, but I know Texas and Kentucky are known for their cave systems. Who's to say that these creatures, aren't just going in somewhere and going to sleep during the winter? Now, Texas, if you cut the state in half, the northern section of Texas, yeah, it does get pretty cold up there. I mean, they do sometimes see negative temperatures, but not very often. I mean, this year we're going to probably see that. We have a really bad cold front coming down. If you guys are, anywhere in the cold areas, please, 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 please be prepared. Be prepared for powers to go out and all that stuff. Have a way to heat yourself, have a way to stay warm. Last year in Texas, in 2021, we were not prepared. Well, man and I were. We, thank God, have a fireplace, and we never lost power, thank God. But a lot of people around us did, and a lot of people died during that 3 weeks of 30 or below temperatures, because they didn't have any heat in their house, and they were just trying to find a way to stay warm. I'll be covering that over in my other podcast. If you guys want to go over there, I think it's called the Deepwood Survival Podcast, and I haven't done anything with that for a while. I'm going to get back on that too, start doing more podcasts about that, especially with everything going on in the world. So let's get back to this. Do I believe this creature could exist? I don't know. I mean, there's all kinds of creatures that have been seen that were said to be extinct millions of years ago, like the fish they caught off the coast of, I believe it was Africa. That fish was said to be dead 10 million years ago, but yet it's still thriving off that coast. You look at sharks, alligators. There's countless animals that have survived for hundreds of millions of years, through the dinosaur extinction. So who's to say that something didn't evolve maybe into this? Whales, if you look at whales, their skeletons, they're on their back area, back where their tail is, about halfway back, there are a place where there used to be legs. Some of them, not all of them. But I was listening to somebody talk about this the other day. It was really interesting. They say that dinosaurs at one point could have had legs, but they've evolved. They went into the ocean and evolved to swim and stuff like that. So who's to say when they first went into the water, they didn't have legs? If you look at their flippers, they have fingers at the end of their flippers, not outside their flippers, but inside their flippers. I'm talking about the skeletal section. They look like they have hands. So, I mean, who's to say dinosaurs haven't evolved and maybe gotten smaller? There's reports of pterodactyls being seen and stuff like that all throughout the world. So, we'll take a deep dive into that later on. Right now, we're going to continue down this rabbit hole. So, again, just remember, I don't care if you're a skeptic, a believer, or somewhere in between. Just take all this with a grain of salt. You have to make up your own mind. So, is the prairie devil real? It might be something we go check out. We'll probably look more into this later on and just see if that's interesting. All right. So here's one for you. Everybody knows about gargoyles. You see them on the top of old buildings and stuff like that. But this gentleman says that he saw one. So let's read this. So in 1986, a NASA archivist named Frank Shaw encountered a creature that haunted him for the rest of his life. While leaving work, Shaw looked up and saw the pitch black monster perched on the roof of a building. He described the Texas cryptid as being a large, human-like figure wearing a cape and having two massive wings. When the archivist reported the incident to his boss, he was made aware of secret files that have been kept on the creature. Not many stories about this gargoyle are known to public, but this story and knowing that NASA has a file on this monster is enough to send chills up your spine. Okay, so just let me back up here. So I'm on explore.com. If you want to come on here, you're welcome to look at this too. Gargoyles. Let's talk about gargoyles. I don't know. I mean, for people to put them, for somebody to have imagined this however long ago, and to put them up on the sides of buildings to protect buildings from evil spirits. And I'm gonna take a crazy turn here. Could they be angels? Everybody thinks of angels looking like us and everything like that, but in the Bible and in other places, it describes the angels as being horrid creatures, scary looking creatures, and way much bigger than we are, like giants. So, could a gargoyle have been maybe imagined from an angel? I don't know. I mean, I'm just stretching way out here, probably way further than I should, but it's just a theory. Maybe it's some kind of humanoid creature. Maybe man basically evolved. Maybe man evolved and had took this kind of form. Who knows? Sorry, the dogs are getting into the Christmas stuff behind me. So yeah, I don't know. It would be interesting to look into NASA and see what they actually have on this creature. NASA originally started out researching the oceans and then quickly stopped and decided to go research each other. All right, let's move on. We're going to cover about 7 or 8 creatures here. So the Caddo critter. Now, I've been to Lake Caddo, and that place itself, now, without any cryptos or anything else, is creepy looking. The water is like black. The trees look like they're out of an alien movie. They're just old trees. They're really cool. It's a really cool lake. But let's get into the Caddo creature. The Caddo creature is a squatch. I can't talk today. The Caddo critter is a Sasquatch-like cryptid that was sighted several times during the 1960s around the lakeside town of Caddo, Texas. The cryptid was said to be almost 8 feet tall and covered with thick gray fur. Well-known ranchers said he saw the beast and shot it almost 10 times with his handgun. A small boy claimed to have seen the ape along the shoreline while on a fishing trip. The same creature was possibly sighted 70 miles away in a small town called Haskell, and it was nicknamed the Haskell Rascal. All right, so let's talk about this one. Caddo Lake is known for Bigfoots. There's a lot of stories of people seeing Bigfoots in this area. This one being silvery gray or thick gray fur. The first one I ever saw had thick gray fur. I think maybe, and again, I've talked about this before, but maybe Bigfoots lose their pigment kind of like we do. You can see my beard's kind of grayish white if you're watching this. I've lost pigment in my beard. It went from a nice brownish color to a light gray to pretty much white in some spots. And I'm only 46 years old. So anyways, the Caddo creature probably is a Bigfoot, more than likely. Essentially, we tried to go up there and do research, but it is a national park. And we were told we needed all kinds of permits and this and that and the other thing. At that point in time, we were not a production company, so we didn't have the ability to do that. Now, being a production company and shooting our own shows, if you don't know, we shoot We shoot YouTube videos. We shoot Rumble videos. Basically, we're YouTube and Rumble. We're on both platforms. We're on TikTok, of course, and a few other places. We're going to probably expand that to go to other places soon. But yeah, we produce not only paranormal videos, we do lifestyle videos, and then we do survival, videos and podcast, as well as this podcast. So if you're interested in that, it's called the Deep Woods Paranormal Podcast. You can look up our YouTube channel, deepwoodsparanormal.com. I'm sorry, Deep Woods Paranormal on YouTube or on Rumble. We're on both platforms, and you can check us out there. I did talk about buy us a coffee. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, that'll help us keep the ads off of our channels. You can buy one. It's $3 per cup. Essentially, that's what it costs to buy a cup of coffee pretty much these days. So sorry about that. That's my phone ringing. So essentially, you can buy us a coffee and stuff like that. Let me get back to this because this is more important. So let's keep going. The Ozark Howler. Now, I just recently saw some information about this. There's a guy that got a picture of one on his property. Let me scroll back up. This is kind of a cross between a Bigfoot, a werewolf, and a cat, and maybe a goat. Let me just read this information. The Ozark Howler. The Ozark Howler is a cryptid that goes by many names, including the Black Howler, the Nightshade Bear, and the Devil Cat. This creature is said to be roughly the size of a bear and is believed to have large horns and glowing red eyes. The howler has been spotted creeping around remote areas of Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Missouri. The earliest story of the Ozark Howler dates all the way back to the 1800s. A hunter by the name of Daniel Boone is believed to have fired at the creature after they crossed paths in the woods. Now, Daniel Boone is also on record saying he saw and shot at a Bigfoot too. So, I mean, back in the day, if you don't know this part of Texas, east part of Texas is almost all forest. Yes, there are towns here and there, but it's forested. It's thick. And people kind of moved into those forested areas and stuff like that. But a lot of the places that are out there are more like hunters' cabins and stuff like that, and they're not used year round. So creatures can be basically hanging out in that area, and unless you're out there hunting, they probably won't know about it. The Ozark Howler, the red eyes, the glowing red eyes. Bigfoots are said to also have glowing red eyes. Could be some kind of bioluminescence. If you look at the IR lights that we have on our cameras, they glow red. So, and then of course it creates night vision because the camera can see that. We can't see the infrared, but the camera can. And I believe that other animals, I think deer can see infrared as well. So who knows if Bigfoots or the Ozark Howler or whatever can as well. This is interesting. Supposedly it just makes this god-awful scream. And it's not, I don't think it's ever attacked anyone that I know of, but they do frequent people's properties and stuff like that. So unfortunately, this is getting a little long. I'm gonna have to stop here because I have to go to work. But let me come back on here. Let me stop sharing my screen. All right. If you guys have, like I said before, if you have a story you want to share, you want us to look something up, you want us to come out and take a look at your property, mainly in Texas, feel free to contact us. All our information is down below, on our page. You can go to deepwoodsparanormal.com. That's now back up. We're still working on rebuilding the website little by little, but that's up there. Like I said, we're going to have events coming up here. We're going to start hosting more paranormal events in the future. We're going to be going to haunted locations and stuff like that, and allowing people to come in and investigate these locations. So anyways, thank you guys for watching and listening. We appreciate your support, and you guys stay haunted, and we'll catch you on the next one.